welcome to my channel. Today is Friday, and for us that means it's a little Folklore Friday video. Today we are going to be talking about some lore from Cherokee folklore, and I just want to be as respectful as possible about it. I do know that this entity is said to be feared within the Cherokee culture. So if any information I have is wrong or makes anybody uncomfortable, I mean no disrespect, and I was just really interested in this entity and really wanted to talk about it. But again, if anything's disrespectful or I should not have talked about it, please let me know, and I'll handle that appropriately. Without further ado, we're gonna dive right in to one entity from Cherokee folklore, and that is of the Ravenmockers. If you're new here, hi. I like to do my makeup at the same time. I've noticed it helps me relax and get loose and like make this more fun for me. And yeah, let's just jump right in. As I said before, the Ravenmocker originates from Native American folklore, specifically Cherokee mythology and folklore. Ravenmocker is the common name for this spirit, but in Cherokee, it's referred to as Hawalana Ahe Lisi. Sorry if I butchered that. There is no specific timeline for when the Ravenmocker lore really originated, but it is safe to say that the lore is deeply rooted in ancient oral traditions that has been passed down through generations and was later documented in Cherokee folklore writings or documentation. It's just been in various collections of Cherokee folklore. The folklore has naturally evolved, like all folklore does, with various tales emerging in both modern and traditional contexts. For example, in 19th and 20th century, the tales tell of shamans and medicine men who could detect the Ravenmockers and apply various efforts to attempt and stop them. More recently, the folklore has found its way into various fantasy media, which is altering the lore as well. But before I get too ahead of myself, let's talk about a little more about what a Ravenmocker is. According to Cherokee folklore, the Ravenmockers go after the sick and the dying to rob them of their hearts. Ravenmockers are said to be some of the most dreaded witches or spirits of the Cherokee folklore, and they're typically described as witches or evil spirits, as they can either be male or female, but it is generally difficult to tell the difference. They are described as looking withered and old, as they have stolen so many lives. At night, when someone is sick or dying in the village, the Ravenmockers make their way to the place of where the sick or dying resides to take their life. It flies through the night in a kind of fiery shape and has a trail of sparks behind it, or leaves a trail of sparks. The Ravenmocker's arms are more like kind of amorphous wings, and the sound it makes when it moves through the sky is more like a really strong wind. Every so often, while in flight, the Ravenmocker will make a little cry, not quite like the normal sound of a raven, but more like when a raven is about to dive through the air. The sound is said to bring fear into the community, as they recognize it as a omen that someone's life will soon be taken. Usually at the house there are other Ravenmockers as well, but they all wait outside. If a doctor or shaman or medicine man is present. If a shaman or medicine man isn't present, the Ravenmockers will go right in. To all people, most of the time, the Ravenmockers are invisible and they will torment and frighten the individual who is sick and or dying until they kill them. After the Ravenmockers kill the person, they take out that person's heart and eat it. Eating the heart adds however many days or years they had taken from the sick or the dying person. No one in the room can see them, and they don't even leave a mark from where they remove the heart, but there is definitely no heart left in the body. The only way Ravenmockers can be seen is if somebody takes the correct medicine that allows one to recognize those witches or spirits. If the one who has taken the medicine stays in the room with the sick or dying person, the Ravenmockers will not enter the room, and they usually retreat. As if they are recognized, the witches die within 7 days of being seen. There once was a man who would take this medicine and would hunt Ravenmockers and is known for killing several. Usually the friends of the dying, when there's absolutely no hope left, will have a medicine man stay in the room or the house to protect the person until they have died and have been buried. It is said that after burial, the Ravenmockers do not steal hearts. Other witches or evil spirits of Cherokee mythology and folklore are said to be jealous of the Ravenmockers and are even afraid to enter a home if one is present. One time, a man who had taken the medicine to watch over a sick or dying person is said to have witnessed other witches outside trying to get into the house. But then, all at once, they scattered like a flock of pigeons when the hawks swoop at the sound of a Ravenmocker's cry. It is said that when a Ravenmocker dies, that some of these other witches are after revenge on them, and they attempt to take revenge by digging up the body to abuse it. The following story is told throughout the Cherokee community as an actual happening. A young man had been out on a hunting trip and was on his way home when nightfall came on while he was still a rather long distance away from the settlement. He knew of a house not too far off the trail where an old man and his wife lived, so he turned that way in the attempt to look for a place to sleep until morning. When he got to the house, there was absolutely nobody in it. He looked all around and could find no one there at all. The man thought maybe the couple had gone after water, and so he stretched himself out in a small corner to attempt and get some sleep. After a short while, he heard a raven cry come from outside, and shortly after this, the old man walked in and sat down without even noticing the young man, who attempted to keep still in the dark corner. Then there was another raven cry from outside, and the old man said to himself, "My wife is coming." And sure enough, an old woman walked in and sat down next to her husband. The young man knew they were Ravenmockers. He was frightened and kept quiet. "Well, what luck did you have?" the old man said. "None," the old woman replied. "There were too many doctors watching." "What luck did you have?" "I got what I wanted for," the old man replied. "There's no reason to fail, but you never have the luck. Take this and cook it. Let's have something to eat." The old woman fixed the fire and then smelled the meat cooking. He thought to himself that it smelled sweeter than any other meat he smelled before. Curious, he peeked with one eye and saw what looked to be a human heart roasting on a stick. Suddenly, the old woman said to her husband, "Who is over in the corner?" "Nobody," said the old man. "Yes, there is," said the old woman. "I can hear him snoring." She stirred the fire until it blazed and lit up the whole room, and there was a young man lying in the corner. He kept quiet and pretended to sleep. The old man made a noise in the attempt to wake the young man, but he still pretended to sleep. The old man came over and shook him, and the young man sat up and rubbed his eyes as if he had been asleep that whole time. Now it was nearing daylight, and the old woman was out in the other house getting breakfast ready. But the hunter could hear her crying to herself. "Why is your wife crying?" he asked the old man. "Oh, she has lost some of her friends and feels lonesome." But the young man knew she was crying because he heard them talking. When they came in to breakfast, the old man set a bowl of corn mush before the hunter and said, "This is all we have. We have had no meat for a long time." After breakfast, the young man had started on again. But when he had gone a little way, the old man ran after him with a fine piece of beadwork and gave it to him, saying, "Take this and don't tell anyone what you heard last night, because my wife and I are always quarreling that way." The young man took the beaded piece, but he threw it into the water of the first creek he came upon, and then went on to the settlement. There he told the entire story. A party of warriors started back with him to kill the raven mockers. When they reached the place, it had been 7 days after the night the hunter stayed there. They found the old man and his wife lying dead in their house. So the men set fire to it and burned it with the witches together. Raven mockers are witches or evil spirits from Cherokee folklore that steal the hearts of the sick and or the dying in order to extend their lives. And if they are seen in their true form or recognized, they die 7 days after being seen. And with that, that concludes our folklore on the Raven Mocker. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you found this as interesting as I did. I came upon it kind of by happenstance and got really interested and read into it. And I wanted to share it with you all. This is the look. I just really want everything I talk about folklore-wise to be accurate, and I also don't want to disrespect anything. I think I said that in my first video too, and I still stand by that. Yeah, and that's about it. I'm gonna thank you again for joining me, and thankful. And I'm gonna close out because I linger too long here. If you have any folk tales, folklore you're interested about or want me to do research into, maybe it's from your culture or whatever, go ahead and leave a comment down below and I'll take a peek. Okay, so I'll see y'all later. Bye.